of the Revolutionary War. Kentuckians battled here, they battled the British and the Indians in 1782. This was the last battle of the Revolutionary War, and in fact, the Kentuckians did not realize that the war had already been won. Because communications, of course, in those days, they did not realize the war had ended. So this is a beautiful monument that was erected here. And there's a nice park, restaurant, a beautiful place to visit in Kentucky.
Privileged to be here today, and I appreciate all you folks gathering for this occasion. This won't be the last one, but this is the first of several, and we really do appreciate you taking time to come and be with us. If you would allow me, I'm going to read a few comments and words about Revolutionary War hero Sergeant William Jasper, to whom this mural is dedicated. Sergeant William Jasper was a soldier, hero, scout, and namesake of Jasper, Alabama. During June 28, 1776 defense of Charleston against the Royal Navy, Sergeant Jasper courageously retrieved the fallen standard of the 2nd South Carolina Regiment after a British cannon shot severed the flagstaff. Under intense fire, Jasper leapt from the parapet wall of Fort Sullivan, now Fort Moultrie, and recovered the flag and attached it to a cannon sponge staff and remounted the flag on the fortress wall. In recognition of his bravery, Sergeant Jasper was presented with a sword from his commanding officer and offered a commission as a lieutenant, to which he refused. The victory at Fort Sullivan in the defense of Charleston served to be vitally important to the Patriot cause. The colonial win was the first significant victory since the skirmish with the British at Concord on April 19, 1775. For the following years of the war, William Jasper served in the command of the Swamp Fox, Francis Marion, during the struggle against the British and the Southern Tories. Sergeant Jasper was killed in action in 1779 during the Patriot attempt to regain Savannah, Georgia from the British.
Your background is the military and the Marines.
Right. Well, I had the good fortune of enlisting in the Navy after high school. I was able to go to college, and then I got commissioned in the Marine Corps and was commissioned for 30 years. It was awesome.
Well, I tell you, you're a credit to your upbringing to begin with. I know you had to have great parents. And what year did you go in? What year
And where did you live then? Was it Jones Chapel? or
At
Coleman?
Jones Chapel.
Jones Chapel.
And I lived in Jones Chapel when I got the notice, too. Yeah. Then I was drafted. I was at the Fort McClellan for my physical, and I come back and stayed about 4 weeks before they sent me to Atlanta. And then from Atlanta,
Do you remember where, like Fort McPherson,
Fort
bus or
McPherson,
train?
troop train.
Troop train.
Yeah. Troop train.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, you know, still everybody managed to have a little fun, didn't they?
Oh,
Even
yeah, they
though-
did. It was interesting. Unless you went on a long trip, like we had to go from Long Island, New York to L.A., California on the troop train, and that wasn't fun. It was too crowded, and it was slow, and that wasn't fun. Then we went from there to Calcutta.
To Calcutta.
No.
What was your mission there? What were you doing?
We were just on our way to Calcutta.
Okay.
It was on our way. They stopped there we stopped in Australia to get refuel and food, stuff like that.
Okay.
Back then, the ships took a long way to keep from getting torpedoed. It'd take a long way, they wouldn't make a direct route.
Okay. All right. Were you in a fleet with other ships or by yourself?
We was by ourselves.
Oh my gosh.
We had the destroyers on each side of us, but other than that, there wasn't no more ships along.
What were you doing in Calcutta?
And then I had done that, and I went over to Burma and brought some trucks back there. As soon as we got back from going over there and getting those trucks, but that was an experience by itself because we was on that Burma road,
Oh.
bringing those trucks back. Not all of the Burma road, but part of it, and
Well,
no
they
bridges.
Were,
we
they
always.
were bombing that road, weren't
Oh,
they?
that road was something else. And when a truck would break down or fall off of one of those cliffs, they just leave it. If there was anybody on it, I didn't see them go get them. But they was crews that done that, but they were at the back of the convoy.
So you just had to keep the convoy moving? Was that the
Yeah,
thing?
that was the main thing, yeah. So,
Keep it moving.
Yeah.
Were you moving supplies?
no, just those trucks.
Bringing the trucks in. Were you actually driving a truck?
I was driving one, hauling one, and pulling one.
Driving one, hauling one.
And pulling a Jeep. The roads were so narrow you couldn't, it was just a bobtail truck. And you put a weapons carry on the back of the truck, and you put it with a Jeep, you tied it and towed it. You couldn't have nothing any longer because you couldn't make the curves in the road with it.
It was that crooked.
It was that crooked, and some of them you had to back up to turn those trucks in.
Oh my gosh.
And
Boy,
you had to see it to believe it.
You were still, what, 18, 19 years old?
Yeah, I guess I got back home before, when I was about 21.
Your war.
A lot of those wounded guys come back to that hospital.
Oh,
It's the 142nd General Hospital there in Calcutta.
I think Jenny was right. You just had a great experience because you had praying parents that prayed for you.
But they run in there and told me, I got to tell them the boys on the speaker that Jeremy had quit.
Oh,
Yeah.
they surrendered and you got to tell it.
Yeah.
Oh, Slim, that was
Yeah.
a thrill.
So, yeah, it was. So,
Oh my gosh.
but then that was how come that they knew it was going to die down because they're going to use that bomb, and it did. It did, So
Well, they dropped two before they gave up.
Yeah.
We had a Japanese friend that said her father had a factory, and she didn't really want it known, but the government took over his factory, and he told her, he said, "We're not going to win this." Now, were you drafted or enlisted?
Pardon?
Were you drafted or enlisted?
I enlisted.
Oh, okay. What, do you remember the year?
I enlisted the day before I was 18.
And which
I was born in
was?
26.
26.
That would make it one. I think I enlisted 43, December 43.
Okay. What month is your birthday? I've forgotten that.
December.
Oh, goodness. Okay.
Went to San Antonio, Texas. From San Antonio, went to Fort to Camp Roberts, California for 6 months basic training. Came home for 10 days, went back to California, shipped out from Los Angeles, troop ships headed for the invasion of Japan. Dropped the first atomic bomb while I was en route. Ended up in Eniwetok. Had 9 ships in our convoy. When I got to Eniwetok, there was hundreds of ships ready for that invasion. After the second bomb was dropped, the Japs decided to head it up. Thank God for Harry Truman. From there, I went to Leyte. Spent about a month in Leyte. Got sick, bad sick, amoebic dysentery. My outfit got away from me. I had to join another outfit. From there, I went to Cebu in the Philippines. Spent about 6 months in Cebu. From Cebu, we went to Guam. From Guam, we ended up in Saipan. Saipan, we headed for home. Thank goodness we were home. Ended up in San Francisco. 30 days later, I was on the way home.
Chuck Lee, and he happens to have on a T-shirt about his military experience. It's Veterans of Underage Military Service. He has been involved in this organization of military men that happened to be underage when they went into the military, out fighting the country's battles. It's amazing what you went through, and you don't realize until later how young you were, do you?
No. But my war was the Korean War. That was a long time ago.
Yes, but you were still underage.
That's true. That's true.
How old were you, Chuck, when you joined
Barely
the
16.
country? But you came out and then went back.
Yes. Well, they they went through a series of whatever. We're going to get you. We're going to find you. We're going to throw you in jail, and then we'll kick you out. But if you come in and tell us, we'll just let you go home. So I went in and I told them that I was underage. Okay, all right. And nothing happened. So after that, if anyone asked me how old I was, I would tell them the truth. And I was in for almost a year, ended up in Korea that time. When I got old enough that my birth certificate could let me in legally, I went into the Air Force and spent the rest of my career in the Air Force.
With great
Well, yeah,
career.
I went in the Army with a 9th grade education, and when I retired, I had a master's degree. So the military gave me an education.
Oh, now that's the good story. And so many of you were able to take advantage of that.
Well, yes. A lot of there's an organization called the Bums of all of us guys that went in the military underage, and I haven't been to a function for some time, but we have yearly functions and here and there and everywhere with all of us. We call ourselves I think it's for. I don't know which one I'm in. I think I'm in.
You are in number 2.
Number 2. Okay.
Chuck, out of that organization and all the fun you guys had together and all your stories, then came this book.
Well, that's just one of 3.
And you are in volume number 2.
Yeah.
And so if anyone has these volumes out here, you can check out Chuck Lee's in volume 2.
Right. That's right.
So then underage, and it had to get a little frightening, Chuck.
Well, it was. But, of course, we've got the briefing. You know, we know you're in here, and we're going to find you, and we're going to put you in jail, and then we'll send you home. But if you come in and tell us, we'll just send you home. Well, I went in and told them, but nothing was done about it. And I ended up in Korea. But when they would ask me how old I was, I would tell them the truth. And we were in Korea. That was during the war. And the lieutenant asked me one day. They had me as a messenger, and he was complimenting me on my abilities to do this, that, and the other. And he says, young guys can do that better than the older guys. How old are you anyway? And I said, I'm 16. And he dropped his bedroll. You're what? And it wasn't too long after that until I was on my way home.
They caught you. Yeah. They caught up. But you had
told them. I had already told them. They gave us that lecture. We know you're in here, and we'll find you, and we'll send you to jail, and then we'll send you home. If you tell us now, we'll just send you home with no jail. So I went in and confessed. So after that, I told him how old I was if I was asked. And when he asked me, how old are you anyway? And I said, I'm 16. He dropped his bedroll.
But Chuck, you were always grateful for your military career, and you were able to complete your education. So that little boy that started off at the 9th grade completed his education and ended up with
two masters. I have an MA and an MBA.
And taught a couple of colleges.
Yeah, I did. Well, I didn't. I was not a full-time professor, but I was part-time.
Well, you were a big chief anyway.
Well, I enjoyed it. It was fun. I had a day job, so to speak, and I taught a little bit on the side, just because I enjoyed it.
Oh, I know you do enjoy teaching, and for many years you were a Sunday school teacher too, weren't you?
Yes, I did that. I did that first, actually. And teaching Sunday school, I guess, got me kind of interested in being an instructor. So I did it on the college level.
Oh, where did you teach, Chuck?
In North Carolina, I taught Campbell University and Reinhardt University. Well, actually, it was Reinhardt College, excuse me.
And that's in Georgia.
Yeah.
That is super. Yeah. What a great journey story you've had, Chuck.
It was interesting. And I enjoyed it, and Sharon enjoyed it. So we had a good life.
Well, I remember you had one overseas stay where you were able to take the family.
Yes, Philippines. And while I was there, I got a master's degree from the University of the Philippines.
Oh, my gosh. You just couldn't stay out of school.
Well, it kept me busy.
The family couldn't go, but the Philippines was a great experience for the children.
Yeah, they went to school there also, yeah.
To enjoy that, and they were old enough to remember it.
Oh, yes, yes. As a matter of fact, David started the school there.
Oh.
Yeah, his first year in school was in the Philippines.
Born in Dora, Alabama. Yeah. July the
9th, 1927. And we lived around Birmingham and different places until I was 16. In World War II, that's 1943, they had Army hospital ships. They couldn't get enough men with their men. And what we did, we went overseas, 30-day trip. We'd pick up all these wounded soldiers and bring them back. Sometimes we brought back German prisoners, all back into Charleston, South Carolina.
And where would you pick them up?
Pick them up in France. We pick them up in Italy and in England. We go into port and pick them up and bring them back. And some of them were burnt, scarlet, complete scarlet, just burnt all over, all that kind of stuff. And I did that for 2 years.
And you mostly came back to port in Charleston, South Carolina. That's where you brought the wounded back.
Yeah. We brought them back there, and then we go back again.
I mean, you're plowing through the Atlantic, and there were German ships out there.
Oh yeah, we had
submarines too.
Yeah, we had airplanes to fly over and drop turtles all around us.
Oh my
But
God.
the hospital ship was painted red and white, that had a cross on it. So
Oh,
they
American
knew,
Red Cross.
yeah, they knew that we were a hospital ship.
But they didn't care.
No,
They still
didn't
wanted to
care.
kill you.
And we thought maybe, at times we thought that we were going to be gonna sink us, you know, but they never did.
Did you ever get hit by a torpedo?
No, we never did.
But you had that worry all the time. You had that fear.
Yeah, you're taking this, you risk your life every day because sometimes these same ships will carry supplies, you know, to different places, and they knew we had it on there. And they didn't care if it was sunk us or what. But it was, I spent 2 years doing that. When I was 18, I had to sign it for the draft.
But at 16, you were able to get in with parental consent.
Yeah, I had to go to St. Petersburg, Florida. I went through a 8-week boot camp, learning how to take care of myself. He took us out on a coal burning ship. He jumped off in the water, and he took his shirt off and made a life jacket out of it. He had to tread water for 1 hour.
Oh my.
And it was all, and then after you got through with that, they took you out in a sailboat, and then you had to rig the sail up and sail back in. I was only going to stay for about 4 years and get out. But when the war broke, when I got ready to get out, we had war in Korea, we couldn't get out. So it was going to be there 3 more years at least. And at the end of 7 years, I decided I only got 13 years to go, I can retire.
And make a career of
Yeah,
it.
so then I spent 16 years on ships. And we was in all kind of different things. You know, every time a war broke out someplace, we'd come in port, been gone for 6 months, to go back out to sea because they had trouble someplace else, you know. And that went on. You see, when you're in the military and you sign that dotted line, your life is not your own. You belong to Uncle Sam the whole time you're there. You can't do anything unless they give you permission. A lot of times we would go out on the ship and we had submarines underneath them.
Oh,
German submarines or whatever.
you knew were everywhere.
Yeah, we had sonar. We knew where there's at, you know.
Oh, okay.
We could drop depth charges on them and things like that. And then we had helicopters flying on both sides of us, you know. They could look down and see. And then they would tell us whether it's that, and we'd drop bombs on us on the other. And then we'd have, if the ship's on, we'd probably pick them up, bring them back in as prisoners. You know. But you never knew from one day to the next one what she's going to do. If we go on a battle mission, they never tell us until we got out to sea about 2 days where we were going. Because they didn't want us to tell nobody.
Oh, okay. Oh, I remember the slogan, loose lips sink ships.
See, I was on the USS Pollock, the USS Eckerman. I was on the Saratoga, the Forrestal, the Roosevelt, the Wright, and the Stephen A. That's 7 of them I don't look at. I was probably on the Forrestal of the Saratoga aircraft carrier.
Aircraft carrier.
Yeah.
Oh, that was interesting.
Spent 13 years on aircraft carriers. And we had enough weapons on there to blow most countries off the map.
Oh my gosh.
We had atomic warfare. And it's so secret. And I'm on the ship and I'm part of the crew. They wouldn't let me see. They covered up with canvas. You know.
Oh my.
I didn't want to see it no way. But just things like that, you know. And we had to train. And when I went in the Navy, I hadn't been in no time, and I ended up with the atomic bomb test in Bikini. That's when they had the test that.
Oh my.
And we had to anchor out 10 miles from where they was going to drop the bombs off, in case the tidal wave turned the ship over. And and they did the wrong thing. They had no protection. They made us go up topside and give us sunglasses and earplugs. And that was the dumbest thing they could have done. We had no dose meter. imagine how much we had gotten our bodies, you know. And the ship that I was on was so contaminated after we got through the test that we were pulled into Pearl Harbor and we had to tow it back with a seagoing tow to San Pedro, California. So the ship was so contaminated.
Were they able to decontaminate it?
No, they had to destroy it.
Oh my.
At first we went 300 miles to make water. We made salt water into fresh water, you know. And then it got to where they started checking and found out it had stuff in it. So. But I contribute my safety while I was in the military was I had a praying mother and daddy.
You certainly did. The McAnallys were wonderful people.
And they prayed for me, and I believe that's how I came back safely. And I could have stayed 10 more years, but I figured I made it this far.